guys, it's Dana and welcome back to my channel for my July favorites. I am going to do something a little bit different for my July favorites. Rather than put the makeup, hair care, all that girly stuff up front, I am going to put up front some of the non-female related stuff just to see how the views go. If it changes the views and then there's a strong drop-off rate, I will know that other people that watch these videos definitely prefer the content that is non-girly related. But I will hop right into it. So with my July favorites, I have absolutely loved carrying around this notebook, and I am a big fan of these pens. They are the Pilot Friction Point. It's a fine tip pen, and it's also erasable, which I really like. And yeah, carrying these around has been fantastic for me. It helps me with my focus. I will link that video. And then I use these at work as well too. And this is from, I can't remember, but I'll link it. It is from Staples, and I use these at work when I am on customer calls, writing things down, and then I also use it here when I am writing things down, and then like I've part of my things written down for my July favorites, and I have really been enjoying that. Now, something I have talked about in a video way back when I was doing my Christmas time. I was doing daily vlogs for Vlogmas. I already talked a little bit about my favorite podcast, but I really wanted to jump back into it because I never stopped listening to this podcast. It is by far my favorite podcast. One second. Yeah, guys, so I am always excited for Tuesday mornings to come because I know there will be a new episode of No Sleep Till Sudbury, and that is my favorite podcast, and it is by a Canadian author, Brent Jensen, and I have also mentioned his books in prior videos as well, based off his last book called All My Favorite People Are Broken, where him and his friend go out into the wilderness and they put together playlists and go back and forth. And I might as well do attribution here to him because obviously I started talking about playlists and what I like. I put playlists together on Spotify all the time, but a little bit of sharing that in my favorites came from his podcast. So on his podcast this month, he had a return guest, Susie Corey, and she is a Canadian singer, and she was on for episode 63, and then again she was on for episode 69, and in episode 63, Jason and I had just broken up when I listened to that, and it was it was the motivation I needed, and hearing something from a female perspective that was so empowering that I was over the moon excited about it. And in episode 69, she talked about something that I oftentimes feel in life, that certain things have happened in my life are very serendipitous. Actually, I almost, if my close friends will know this, the tattoo here is for the Tragically Hip. It says no dress rehearsal, this is our life. But I actually almost got serendipitous tattooed there because there was so many things after my last breakup that I felt like happened at the right time and the right place, and everything kind of fell into place. And I see this happening more and more in my life. And I feel like I'm bringing in good things into my life. So I totally connected with her episodes, and I have a serious girl crush on her. I follow her on Instagram and Twitter, etc. And I think she's got an album or maybe a song, something launching on August the 8th. I will link her info below I know her Instagram, Twitter, and all that stuff. And you can check her out too and start following her. She is a very inspiring woman as well. And then there was a episode back in June that was a favorite of mine. It was Carl Dixon, and he was in a life-changing car accident, And I've talked about this a little bit, but not a lot. My father died as a result of a car accident, and when I listened to that episode, there was points in that episode where I was laughing, and there was points in that episode where I was crying, and I listened to that one when I was walking, and a lot of the times when I'm walking, I'm wearing my Wayfair Ray-Bans, which are dark and cover my eyes, which is great because that episode made me cry. And I have downloaded his book, but I haven't had time to read it. But I highly suggest, even though that was in June, going back and listening to it because it was such a fantastic episode. And the other episode that I really enjoyed was the one that just passed, which was episode 70 with Rick Emmett. And that episode, there was multiple things. It was a really good conversation that they had between each other. And then this has happened before where a guest will actually come on and play music as well too. And I really enjoyed that. So I will link to that episode below. One of the things that I find with this podcast is I always get something out of it. It's either something from the guest where they're very inspiring, like Susie was, or it's the content of the music that they're talking about. I get something new to listen to. I am a music lover, a music addict, if you would. So I love discovering new music, and this podcast is fantastic for that. And not all the times, it really depends how much I enjoy the music from the episode. I will put together playlists for different episodes. So if I've done that, I will link them down below so you can take a listen to those. A lot of the times it's following what the person's talking about. Usually it's like 5 songs, but sometimes I'll add on songs based on the conversation that they had. So that is how I get some of the playlist inspirations that are up on my Spotify. Now back to my monthly playlist that I put together on Spotify. It is called Miss Me More, and the first track on that is by Kelsey Ballerini, and this song is definitely different than last month, and there's some repeat songs. This month I love live music. I love covers, so you will see there is some live music on here, there is some covers, but there's also a mix of things, and then there's concerts that I went to as well. So yes, Miss Me More is the title of the playlist, and it is something that I realized that I do in relationships is I tend to, as I further progress into a relationship, for whatever reason, and I talked to my girlfriend Marlene a little bit about this, I seem to lose myself. I don't want to do that anymore, and I'm really working on trying to change that, to keep myself as a whole entity and then be a better part of a couple eventually, when the time is right and I meet the right person, which leads me to another song on the playlist and a concert that I went to, Lady Antebellum with Darius Rucker. It was fantastic, and this is actually from their new album, and it's called Heartbreak. And it's not like a boohoo song, it is a song about just taking a break from investing all of those emotions into a relationship and someone else. And that's something that I've been doing. I've been taking all of that energy and investing it into myself, investing it into my YouTube channel, and investing it into things that I enjoy and things that inspire me and motivate me and move me. The next song that I will kind of talk about and touch on is from Foo Fighters. And Foo Fighters is my favorite concert that I've gone to this summer so far, and it will be a hard press to beat off that because Dave Grohl is everything. He's a rock star, and he is so incredibly charismatic and charming. I haven't been that fixated at a concert in a long time. Guns N' Roses was pretty similar, where I was very fixated. Andrea and I went to that concert together, and both of us, like, we took a selfie, I think, before, and then maybe a few things, but really, I was just I couldn't take my eyes off the man. He was incredible. That concert was incredible. But the song on my playlist, there's a few Foo Fighters songs on my playlist, but the one I'm going to reference is Best of You. And I find all of the Foo Fighters music to be very motivational, and a lot of the times I end up listening to it before the gym because it gets me pumped up. It's got that right beat and that right tempo. But a line from the song was, "Were you born to resist, or were you born to be abused?" And this, in my mind, is talking about how you create your own destiny, right? And are you going to just take what the world gives you, or are you going to become something more and not take, but give the world yourself, be your best self? And yeah, this song is fantastic, and it's one of the non-live songs on the playlist, but definitely check it out. Check out Dave Grohl. And the Foo Fighters, of course. One of the other songs that is on my playlist is also a band that I went to go see, Sugarland, and it is a cover from Beyonce called Irreplaceable. The song is upbeat and it's very playful, and it is very much a girl power type anthem. And my favorite line in it is to the left, and I'll just put it out there, I'm back on online dating apps, so a lot of times in my head, when I'm swiping left frequently, that song plays because I just don't see anything I'm interested in, so to the left. The next song that I am going to talk about is a song that reminds me of a boyfriend that I had near the end of my high school career. And it's Say Goodbye, and I also saw the Dave Matthews Band, and they were fantastic, and something that I do not normally do. When a relationship ends, it ends for me, and I generally do not look back, but Say Goodbye reminds me of this high school boyfriend because we had a time together, a night together, where we looked back, and whenever I hear this song, I always think about him, and I think about that night, and I think of him very fondly. He is a fantastic person, and that experience, what I would call a reunion special, was one of the only times that I've really done that, and probably will be one of the only times that I will do that. He was a person that it was worth doing it for. A song that I have been getting so pumped by is Come Together, and this is a cover from Larry Clark Jr., and one of my favorite CrossFit instructors, Sophie, plays it all the time, and I love it. It gets me so pumped and so motivated. You have to check out the song. It is fantastic. And then another song that is super gets me pumped and motivated, and I love walking and listening to this song, is The Sky's a Neighborhood by the Foo Fighters. One of the songs on there is Amazing from Aerosmith. And music is so pervasive in my life that I actually didn't realize that I lifted the line, "Life's a journey, not a destination." I'm sure I lifted that in part from that song because I was an Aerosmith fan as a teenager growing up, and that album with Amazing and Crying and Crazy was such a teenage love album of mine that it must have just been so ingrained in my mind that I lifted it. But now I'm attributing part of what I said to that because it does need attribution. But yeah, guys, I'm not going to go into too many more songs because I do have other things that I need to talk about with you guys. I do really, really highly recommend checking out Mr. Jensen's podcast. I will link that. I will link his books. He's a fantastic author. He writes in a very humorous way, and they are really quick reads, and if you are a music lover, you have to check it out. I would love to be on this man's podcast. I don't think I'm famous enough. Maybe we can start a letter writing campaign. I feel like he's of that generation where a letter writing campaign might get me on the show. So I will link to his website, and I'm sure there's an email address there for him, so if you want to like send him an email and tell him that I should be on the show, that would be great. Now on to my favorites, my more typical favorites for the month, and I have it in this big Sephora bag of mine. So something that is a big favorite of mine, and I'm getting close to the end of, I think I can get it through this summer, but it is Bond No. 9 Fire Island, and it smells like everything summer. It is so delicious. There is notes of patchouli in here, as well as tuberose. It smells kind of like copper tone, but better. I don't know how. I'm not that great at describing scents, but I absolutely love this. So in terms of hair care products, I'm going to mention, I'm still using the smoothing line. That is my favorite. But some things that I tried and I have been enjoying is Moxie Magnifying Mousse, as well as the Air Dry Cream. I believe I did actually mention it before, but new to me this month, and it is amazing. My hair felt like silk for 3 days, and it is because of the Heavenly Hydration Mask from Monat and the Heavenly Hydration Serum. This combo together, if you blow out your hair with this, it's going to be sleek and straight and feel amazing. I'm going to stay for at least 3 days. That's what I wore it for. Okay guys, I had been rocking a bright lip a few times in July, and this is from Smashbox, and it's the liquid lipstick in Always On. It's kind of like a pinkyish red, but I really have enjoyed that, and it stays on pretty much all day. Very little reapplication, and it's funny because my other lip products are definitely more natural. So this is Buxom, and it gives you like a little bit of a pinky tint to your lip, and I've really been enjoying this. And then this is from by Terry, and it's the Baume de Rose, and I've really been enjoying that as well. In terms of powders, I have been using, and I had used it today, the Patrick Star powder under my eyes and along my nose, but a huge love is this all-nighter powder from Urban Decay. It is fantastic, and dare to say this will be a new permanent favorite. Not much has changed in terms of my favorite eye palette. This is the Aspen Ovard from Tarte. This is in heavy rotation, along with this Vlada collab with Smashbox, all rose gold, all kind of my jam, all loving it. This is a little bit of a older palette from Benefit. It has their box blushes in it, but there's something very similar out now as well that I will link below. But this is a really great value, and Benefit box blushes are incredible. In terms of highlighter, I am still loving this very much. It's the metallic palette from Hourglass, and then my Amrezy highlighter is still getting a lot of love, and the way I've been loving it in the summer is I actually put it on my collarbone. It is amazing. And then onto another highlight. It is from Icon, and it's the Illuminator. So I actually have this on underneath with the pink color from here. That is what it's on my cheek today, giving me that lovely glow. I have been using a whole lot of fake lashes this month, and I mean a whole lot, like maybe once or twice a week I'm doing it, which is more than I had been doing it before. And part of it was there was a crazy sale at Shoppers Drug Mart on Quo, the Naturals, and this is the 803, and that's what I have on right now, and I really like it. And I do have their lash glue, and I really like it as well. If that sale ever comes up again, I will tell you guys, because I got the individual lashes for like $2.50. If you haven't used Quo lashes, they are excellent. excellent. Base, not a lot has changed. I am using the Tarte Shape Tape Hydrate. This is the Tarte Shape Tape in light medium, and I actually have a little sunspot here. My mom gave this to me because she wasn't a fan of it, and I've been using it just to cover up that little sunspot, and then my regular Shape Tape for under my eyes. This I got from Quo as well, and this is actually what I have been using with the Patrick Star powder. So I put it under my eyes, I bake it along my nose, etc. Big fan of the Max Fix Plus in coconut. I love everything coconut. This is fantastic. You must pick it up. Something a little bit new for my brows is actually from Maybelline, and it's a micro pencil as well as their brow fibers, and that's what I have on my eyebrows today. This provides a really quick way to get your brows done, and they stay all day, and it stays pretty much perfect in my opinion, so I am a big fan. As you guys clearly know, I am a rose gold lover, and this is from Tarte, and it's rose gold, and it's actually what I have in my waterline, and that's what I've been doing with this. Again, from Tarte is their dual-ended liner. So this one here, that's what is on my top lash line today, and then whenever I tight line, I use this end. This is fantastic. And last but not least, guys, my mascaras. Not too much has changed. I am still loving the Tarte Gifted mascara. This is fantastic. Along with the tried, trusted, and true It Cosmetic Tight Line, waterproof, love it. And a oldie but a goodie that's coming back into my collection is the CoverGirl Supersizer in waterproof. I like this much better than the Lash Blast. It took over the Lash Blast a while ago in my drugstore favorites. This is fantastic. Give it a try this summer. Thank you guys so much for tuning into my channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And please subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And always remember, life's a journey, not a destination. So buckle up and enjoy the ride.